Welcome back to the Anime channel. Today we have a problem that we can fix. So our bath faucet has a lot of minerals and calcium in there that's a little wasteful of water, and it's not working well because this is our vacation house, which is like near groundwater. We have well water here, so because it's really basically in the forest. So what this, because there's a lot of minerals, well, it's not very good. It's good for like drinking water because you need those minerals to survive, but for faucets, they just cause clogging. The minerals are calcium, lime, iron. Sometimes I tried well water and it tasted like it had so much iron that I didn't want to drink it at all. They have a lot of minerals, including copper and zinc and all of those. I just forgot to mention those two. So now I have to actually show you. Now you understand it, but you don't actually see it. It's not like you don't believe me, you probably do. So I'm gonna, see, the water's still running. That sometimes happens in a regular house too, but so this is a problem because when we use this water diverter, it prevents it from going to the shower head. So there's many ways to solve this problem. But one, I did not recommend that you have brass faucets. The good thing, most people don't have them, but in this house we do. It's very pretty, but this covers the brass, but it doesn't blast calcium, dissolves lime, and zaps rust. This is good for normal purposes, but for brass, it just discolors it, like acid with marble. The best method is actually surprisingly simple. Mineral vinegar and baking soda. So first what we need to do is we need to turn the faucet so I can start cleaning it. So I have to steady so it holds on, because no one wants to fall. The first thing we need to do is actually remove the water diverter. Actually, I'm going to tell you something behind the scenes. This rubber thing is what keeps the water from flowing out. So the next way is a rather thing that is necessary, but it's pretty wacky. Turn the faucet upside down so we can pour the vinegar in, and then add the baking soda. Now this looks pretty funky. For best clean, I actually should move it all the way. Indeed, there is a lot of minerals and calcium deposits. I guess my assumption and my dad's was correct. Just look how much there is. There's even a little bit over here. This white is not just discoloring or anything else, it's the buildup. Now we're going to actually zoom in and actually show you how it is not, how you would actually see it, how pretend you're looking at a microscope, basically. So we're not going to add the baking soda yet. So we're going to be actually placing the head in the cup, and then I'll be pouring in the vinegar. So I'm actually going to fill it all the way here, and actually vinegar first. Okay, this is Mr. Faucet. And just remember, this is not ammonia. That would be crazy. Looks like water out of the container. So now we're going to put it in for about 15 to 20 minutes. Obviously, because I watch a lot of science videos, I thought it would take around a day or 12 hours or so. I thought it would take way longer than it actually will. Now it's actually dissolving all the minerals. And from looking on top, it actually kind of looks like carbonated water. It's not that far off to be exact. It's just basically mostly air bubbles from what I know. It actually is carbonated vinegar because it's taking the calcium calcium carbonate and making them into carbon dioxide. So it is actually carbonated vinegar, but not water. Now you can actually see the vinegar doing what it's doing. And it also looks a lot more interesting on the inside, because on the inside it looks like an abandoned fallen ship. That's what it's doing, because most of the bubbles are actually coming from the top. So I'll let you show the top. As I told you, that's the more interesting looking part. So next, what we're going to do in 15-20 minutes is we're going to take some of this baking soda and some vinegar, and we're going to make a sort of paste. I'm going to brush it with this old toothbrush. This is basically going to be a mild abrasive for removing any mineral deposits. Looks like a metal polish, but we're not polishing this faucet right now. We could be doing it in the future, but we're probably not. This is metal. So basically removing any mineral deposits. And if you're saying, why am I repeating so much? Because if you didn't hear what I was saying or understand correctly. So we're going to take a quick break. I'll come back when I'm done. Guess when I'm going to be back? When I do the handyman clap. So now I'm back. Before we move on to the next step, I wanted to tell you what's actually going on. So this acetic acid, which is actually vinegar, it should be called acetic acid, but no one calls it that way. It basically reacts with calcium carbonate into carbon dioxide and other reagents, which is dropping down, and it's still working. And we actually gave it an hour because we wanted to really do it. We don't like to do this one time. This is a really old house. We never did it, so we don't want to do it for a long time. So we want to do it for a long time so we don't have to do it again. So as you saw in the close-up, there's a lot of stuff that got dissolved. Some of it got dissolved, probably the calcium, I'm not certain about it. But some of the stuff, like probably the oxides, are floating around in the vinegar. You see, they're not in the liquid, but they're still there. They're suspended. They don't want to stay in there, but they have to. It's not like they're mixing. You saw before, so now we're going to take it out again. Just a big disclaimer, a lot of times in the past hour. It looks much better this now than last time. So now, because I really want this clean, we take off some. You can do it too. It's not just this time, but you can do it too. We're going to take some vinegar and some baking soda, mix it into a paste, and then scrub it with this toothbrush. Remember, this is the old toothbrush. Never use the toothbrush that you actually use. That would be disgusting. And here's your spoon. So remember to add around a teaspoon or so. This is a teaspoon. Did you know what the size of it is? Remember, we want this to be a paste. So don't want to add too much. Be careful. It's sizzling, which means it's good. You know this reaction, right? Well, I bet you do. Here's a toothbrush. Now you're supposed to mix it up really well. Oops. As you can see, some of the acid has damaged the marble, so we don't want to damage it anymore. So before that, we want to take this out. And do it on here. It sounds quite mesmerizing. Now this is just for the pretty part. I'm going to continue putting the inside. I'm actually not supposed to do the outside. I thought I could. You just had to chew at the same time while I'm brushing. So you can tell that the dissolved stuff is right there. This is quite mesmerizing. As I told you, I'm not sure if on the camera or not, but what I'm listening right now, it sounds really quite mesmerizing because of all the baking soda. So now, the next step is we're going to dunk it in the vinegar, and then we're going to dunk it in the water. Wow. It reminds me of the Mentos and Coca-Cola experiment. Because this is the same thing, carbonation. Or it reminds you of when my carbonated drink explodes. And now I'm going to do the other side. Now I'm going to show you how clean it is inside. It doesn't look that pretty because no one will look inside, but I just wanted to show you how clean it is. The good thing is dissolved most of the time where the pipe goes. Now I have to flip it this way as well. So I'm actually going to add some baking soda, and there's so I can clean even more thoroughly. And it's also really cool. So you're releasing carbon dioxide. Uh-oh. And now I'm going to add even more. But I'm not going to be adding too much this time. Now I'm going to pick it up and check how well the cleaning went. I want to wait for it to come out. Pretty well. Or pretty good. Oh, I don't know what that's white on top. But overall, it looks extremely clean. Now we're going to be cleaning it over water, and then we can install it finally. I want the water to be quite hot, so I can just get everything that's not supposed to be there off. It is pretty hot for my hands, so I'll take some pauses. But before that, we need to add some Teflon tape to make sure it doesn't leak. So now we're ready to install it, but before, we have to get some Teflon tape. There's already some, we have to put some more on because the old one has been there for a really long time. Now we're going to do this put this on clockwise. I've been having a lot of false attempts. Now I just finished wrapping the thread. Now I'm going to tear it off. Now with my finger, I'm going to flatten it out. Oh, that was surprisingly easier than I expected. I thought it would just bounce back. Like, I think the people who made this thought about everything. Now I can finally put the faucet back on because I have the Teflon tape on. So the main purpose, if you do not understand, is so the water cannot get between the threads. That's the main purpose of the Teflon tape. So now that I installed it, we're going to install the hardware and then we're going to try it out. So now this is the rubber gasket. When it's closed, the water is forced to go all the way up here. And I never knew how this happened until my dad told me. So how this actually works is you put it in here and then you slide it up here. And then you screw this in. So I'm going to hold this with my rough hand and then screw on the brass knob. Now I'm going to get out of the shower. Now, the part where we have to see if things worked. The try part. Unfortunately, this is quite high for me, so I'm going to have to. So this will take a long time. So before we try it, I'm going to tell you something. So normal baths, including this one, has a little bit of dripping, which is expected and what happens a lot of the time. But I expect to happen is when it dripped just a little bit, a lot less than before when I showed you the problem. So now I'm going to turn it here. So you're going to get it. You see, almost no drip. You might have the same thing now. I wanted to tell you something also. Most of this entire bath area, Dad and my family have actually made it. So now we're finally finished, but don't leave yet. So I'm really happy that this project worked out well. I'm going to probably also try to fix this leaking over here. You see, we'll probably try to fix it soon. But when we're not here, the water, we turn it off so it doesn't leak. So it's not super bad, but we'll try to fix it soon. Probably I'll try to do it on my channel. And bye. And thank you for Daddy for teaching me everything of this because I had no idea about pretty much all of this besides the vinegar and baking soda can clean metals. So now this is the end, but don't leave yet because if you did not subscribe yet, you should. And should like and subscribe and, well, help out, basically, with my channel. And now, bye!